did anyone ever for any time today think that Brooks was not going to win? Because it certainly felt like out there that if you had to stay in front of him if you wanted to win. And Victor played great, in my opinion. But Brooks he just takes it to a different level in these things.
There might have been one moment.
What was the moment?
I think the moment where it was not a sure thing that Brooks was going to win. It was only 30 seconds. It was when Victor made the birdie putt on 13, and Brooks had a par putt from like 9 feet.
No, it was farther than that.
Which he buried. I mean,
which he snuck in. Cup grabs it on the right side.
I bet it was like 12 or 15.
Okay, so if that does not drop, they're tied going to 4. That's the one moment. But he makes it. It's still a lead.
Okay, I want to add to that because that putt he made down the hill was sensational. Then he steps up there on 14. Wind is humming across from the right-hand side. That green it's a drivable par 4. It's not that drivable, okay? And he just bashes driver right into the heart of the green. I was like, okay, here we are. This is basically it.
Yeah, the driver. I thought there was like 15 minutes there where Michael Block made the one. You had those 2 putts on 13 that were, to me, kind of you're right. That was like the real moment of the day, and things were moving very quickly out there for a few minutes, which was a blast. It was a really cool moment to get kind of caught up in a major championship.
Well, we started the day with Brooks Koepka just being absolutely clinical. He played the first 5 holes flawlessly, and he started to separate himself from Victor Hovland. We were in studio. We were wondering if we were going to get the Vince Carter GIF.
We did.
We did. We got it then. We got
it after the 4th hole.
Really?
We got it after the 4th hole. So it got a little tighter after that. But Mark, the way he plays the first 5 is top notch. Gets into a little trouble at 6, but kind of rights the ship very quickly.
Yes, and the way he came out, as a golf instructor, something I always want to highlight to folks is how uncomfortable it feels in that place. And he looked so comfortable and hit everything on the button coming out there. The first tee shot was laced down the heart of the fairway. It's a beautiful iron in there. 2, he absolutely flushes one from the middle of the fairway, sticks it in there, makes the birdie. 3 is not an easy par 3 whatsoever. Crosswind, tiny green, huge false front in front there, and he flags his 5-iron or whatever it was and makes a birdie. And I was like, here we go. And yes, he stumbled some on 6, but then after taking relief and having north of 200 yards, I think it was in there, just bludgeons this 8-iron onto the green, gets out with bogey, and I'm like, he has no weakness. He truly had no physical weakness today.
The trajectory that he hits these golf balls. We picked him up, 4 or 5 or whatever, and we brought him to the clubhouse. He hits the ball
on our shoulders.
Well, we tried, but failed. The ball never stops going up. It's like a homesick angel.
Yeah. Bravo.
These guys. We had a conversation. We had a dinner conversation earlier this week, Rick, about whose swing you would want. There's some obvious ones. Adam Scott is an obvious one. So we tried to stay away from the obvious ones. And I said Brooks Koepka. Mark might disagree, probably will disagree. I don't know if it's a beautiful swing, but I love how athletic it is, how effective it is, how efficient it is. It's extraordinary. He's an unbelievable hitter of the ball. And I don't know if we have a clip of 18, but coming up 18, Rick, it reminded me of DJ in 2016 at Oakmont when he won the U.S. Open there. It was the same sort of twilight as the sun was fading. He just murders a drive with a 2-stroke lead going into the last. He was up 2 over Scheffler, destroys a drive, hits it tight, gives himself a look at birdie. He's not even, a lot of guys in that situation would play it safe, would just get it to the house, and he didn't. He just went after it and burned it down for his 5th major championship. We're going to go over the list here in a little bit of guys that have won 5 majors since World War II, but it's Brooks didn't know who was on it because he was asked afterward. Right. But I do know who's on it, and it's a pretty extraordinary list.
Here's that shot here's the approach into 18.
That's like, remember DJ in 2016 at Oakmont?
Yeah.
Yeah, DJ at 6-iron. This was basically a caressed 9-iron, I think it was, down the breeze.
And pin high all day, Mark. I mean, he played to all the right spots. He never got into too much trouble. It was, I think I used the word earlier, it was clinical.
It was clinical, and to talk about the golf swing, as an instructor, I always look for 3 things in a good golf swing. I look for repeatability under pressure. I look for leverage, maximum club head speed, minimum effort. And then I look for square striking. And that, hitting the ball the right distance every single time, every ball he hits came out of the guts of the club face. I mean, he flushed it the entire day. And so as a result, he was carrying bunkers in dog legs. He was hitting the ball tons in the air to bring him down softly on these greens and stuff. It was a truly major championship winning worthy performance.
That list, KP, because we've got a list here. Five majors before turning 34. Tiger, Jack Seve, Tom Watson, Gary Player, Arnold Palmer, and Brooks Koepka adds his name to that list. Now 5 of them, 3 PGAs and 2 U.S. Opens.
Well, within the sport, these are first-name guys only, right? Yeah. Who on this list can you not just say their first name and you know who they're talking about?
Tom. That could be old, young.
Kim.
Stop.
I think everybody knows who you're talking about. I was going to give just not before turning 34, but just the list of guys that have won 5 since World War II. Jack, it's pretty much the same thing. Jack, Tiger, Hogan, Player, Tom
Watson.
Tom Watson, Snead, Sam. Don't know if you've heard of him.
No. Slammin' Sammy. That's who it was.
Palmer, Lee Trevino, Nick Faldo, Phil Mickelson, Seve, and Brooks Koepka.
Every single one of those in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like first ballot, automatic, no doubters. And Brooks is now on that list, and he might not be done. We had a conversation on the 18th tee box. It's not like he's 40. He's got a lot of majors ahead of him and seems to be, forget all the physical, debilitating stuff. Mentally, he's in such a better space now than he was 1 year ago when he didn't even have a top 50 at the majors.
Yeah, I saw him smile a lot today, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Mark, we were talking about this a little bit earlier as well. You know, this is a runner-up finish at the Masters, a win at the PGA Championship. I think he's going to be on the Ryder Cup team.
I think he will, but before that, I want to just quickly visit this and get your take. You know, for the longest time, Rory was kind of the player of our generation, right, with these 4 majors. You know, because Spieth hadn't got there just yet, and Brooks was tied. Brooks is the guy now. 5 of all of them. Look, Rory's got more PGA Tour wins and more FedEx Cups and stuff, but this is how these guys measure themselves. So Brooks is the guy, and along that Ryder Cup conversation, Zach Johnson is going to have to give that side-eye look if he's going to avoid Brooks Koepka for that team, because the way he played today, he just intimidates everybody he plays alongside. And tip your cap to Victor Hovland for hanging in there like he did. But Brooks has that aura. He has the aura of all those names, Kyle, that you read on that list.
Yeah.
They step on the tee with you, and you're like, holy cow, there's Jack, and holy cow, there's Tom. Brooks is that guy.
Not Tom Kim.
Basically, a quarter of his wins are major championship wins, which is sick, one. And, you know, do you talk about the historical aspect, where it fits into it's always easy to be kind of like a prisoner of the moment here, but
that's all I do.
But it's like you said, he's not done here.
Yeah.
Which is the scary part.
I think 2 things. One, first of all, if he doesn't make the Ryder Cup team, then
it's a sham.
It cheapens that event, right? Like that makes that event less than it would be otherwise. So forget about all that. He should be on the Ryder Cup team. He's been beaten by 1 guy in the first 2 majors.
Yeah.
That's never happened, and somebody didn't make the Ryder Cup. So it would cheapen that event. Number 2, to Mark's point, I want to. Here's what I want to see over the next 5 years. Somebody on Twitter said this. I can't remember who. We've got major winning Brooks back. I'd love to see 5 years of major winning Rory back as well, because those guys, I think you can probably throw. DJ is a different age. He's a little bit older. Rory and Brooks are the same age, but those are kind of the 3 guys of this overlapping generation that are the guys, you know, and you could, Spieth and JT are kind of in that. I don't know that they've done Spieth and JT haven't done as much as those 3 guys, especially at the major championships. But I want to see Rory and Brooks kind of go at it for the next 5-6 years and pick off a few more majors.